So I picked up a little bit of cable yesterday, just a length which I cut to make it easy to strip, with some kitchen stuff. You know, I took the oven out and this is in the back of it. I've already pulled the earth piece out. Obviously that pulls out and then leaves a seam along it. This is the thinnest stuff that I would ever strip. I didn't used to strip this sort of stuff, but you know, I used to like the nice the armoured cable. I used to only kind of strip that, but I've started doing this to get the clean copper, to get the dry bright out of it. So I'm going to show you the method that I've always used for stripping. Years ago, me and my brothers had a big stack of armoured cable we had to strip, and we were trying to find the easiest way to strip it. We didn't have a machine, and YouTube wasn't really like it is now as a research tool for scrappers. And we had different ways we try and do it with standardised. And my brother came across this way, and this is how I've done it ever since. I haven't seen many stripping machines. Lots of the videos I've watched seem to be quite fiddly, putting them through or stripping gadgets. So this has always seemed quicker. You used to do it with a Stanley knife, because you're doing it over your knee with the short blade of a Stanley knife. If you imagine it's easy to stick it into your leg. And in all honesty, I don't just, when I'm normally doing it, I don't normally just do it straight over my leg. I normally have I've got a dual set of knee pads, so I do it over the knee pad, which makes it easy, because even though with a longer blade I'm not going to be digging it in my leg, when you run several thousand strands of wire across your leg, you start to get lumps and bumps under there. So using the knee pads is better, but it really is just as simple as doing this. I say hitting the camera and then turning around and then just finishing the other end off. And that's it, she's done. Yeah, it comes straight off. Now this works, if I was doing armoured cable, I would take the, I would chop it up. Somewhere I've got a big, I mean they look like a big set of bolt cutters, but they're cable cutters, and I cut the armoured cable in decent lengths, run the blade along the length of it, and the blade will skip over the armoured part to take, to cut through the outer, take the outer off, take the armoured part off, put that in the iron bin, and then again with the blade straight down the inner black piece of the armoured cable to get to the cores, and then each core with a blade. I've got another bit here that I can go through. I've not really straightened this bit out, so straight through. In terms of some of the machines I've seen have been brilliant on YouTube, and some of them have been a bit fiddly, so they seem to take more time. But again, that's that, and obviously I had a big stack of this to do a few weeks ago, and I just sat there listening to a podcast all night with it going. I can even do, and I wouldn't normally, I always refer to this as like horsehair wire, the sort of rough stuff that's hard to do. I wouldn't normally do this, but it's a thickish piece, so the blade doesn't bounce along in the same way, so it is a little bit harder and a bit more fiddly, but it's just the action of trapping the cable against your leg. It's got nowhere else to go, and then it bounces back. See what I mean? This stuff is fiddly, it's a nuisance. That's why I wouldn't normally bother strip. Well, if it was this thick I would, but I certainly, when I used to use a Stanley blade, doing this stuff is deadly, because you're bumping along and you end up with a blade in your leg every 30 seconds. So it is a pretty quick method. Right, there we go, that's what we got from a little bit. It's not a fortune, but you know what they say, the first 20 million's the hardest. Let's go and put it to the rest. It all adds up.